Neil Oliver, it's a good point, isn't it? It's a good point. You can't just reverse some of the psychological scare tactics that we've had to deal with over the past 18 months. They don't just disappear.
No, hi, Dan. We know that the government employed behavioural scientists and psychologists whose brief it was to whip us into line, to put it to put it bluntly, to frighten people into doing what was seen to be required, and that was sustained for 18 months, more now. It's nudging on towards 2 years. And I believe that this is a population that's just on a hair trigger. I think not all, but too many of the population have been traumatized by it all. And after 2 years, 18 months, 2 years of propaganda, erstwhile normal people, previously cheerfully going about their business, are now millions of frightened, isolated individuals who don't know which way is up. And it's being driven as well by much of the mainstream media. As it turns out, a few front page pictures, images, headlines about fuel shortages, and a population who have been conditioned to not think for themselves, to not make their own risk assessments and behave in a common sense fashion. They are just being triggered into panic. And lo and behold, a few newspaper front pages say that the fuel stations are running out of fuel. And what do you get? You get, whatever, I don't know how many people, millions of people jumping in their cars, getting to the nearest fuel station to stock up. And it's not the fault of the population. This is something that has been driven by the powers that be. It's been orchestrated and choreographed by the behavioural scientists. And lo and behold, you've now got people that from one day to the next, they don't know which way is up, and they're in a state of panic, and this is what you get.
And Neil, the government seems to love using scare tactics against us. Even during this crisis, they haven't been out there on the front foot. And when it comes to COVID, I mean, look at that press conference from 2 weeks ago, which was meant to be positive. It was meant to be about how we're returning to life as normal. Instead, we got a whole load of scare tactics about how bad winter might be, about how bad long COVID might be. I feel like they're becoming addicted to scaring us.
Absolutely. I think we've both said before, I think I've heard you say it before, I know that I have said it before, that that COVID presented opportunities. I think people who want control and who like the idea of people, jump. If you say, jump, everyone says how high. I think that's addictive for a certain kind of leader, a certain kind of politician. The power of the COVID pandemic is waning for all sorts of reasons. That is going away, and there has been this. Well, it's hard not to get away from, drawing the conclusion that there has been a deliberate segue from COVID into climate catastrophizing. Now we're going to have to, do X, Y, and Z, get rid of boilers, get rid of cars, go electric, whatever, shut down the power stations in order to keep up with, with the requirements of climate change. Now there's a fuel shortage, or food shortages. The supply chains have broken down. We can't get you toilet roll. We can't get you bread. We can't get you the essentials. It feels it's very hard not to jump to this conspiracy theory that the powers that be are exploiting what they have whipped into being. I'm drawn to the image of the Mickey Mouse character in the Walt Disney Fantasia, where he gets the mop up to up and dancing and doing his bidding, and then once he's got the mop up and doing his bidding, he doesn't have the magic to turn it off and stop it, and he loses control of it. And you have to wonder, you begin to ask yourself, have they actually got a tiger by the tail now? Have they got the population so frightened, so discombobulated that it's anybody's guess where they're going to go next? And it feels at the moment, unless somebody steps up and takes confident, authoritative action, that we're just going to lurch from one panic to the next.
Well,
You know,
Neil,
if it's not
I
toilet
agree.
rolls, if it's not fuel, it's one thing after another.
And Neil, the media too, who have been complicit in so much of this. And unbelievably, Sky News, they launched a new show tonight. Now, in the end, because of the fuel crisis, they ended up changing the topic. But can you believe, Neil, Sky News was planning to, and they advertised this, they were planning to host an entire hour-long debate tonight with the topic, could COVID-19 be a good thing? That's where our media is at.
Well, Dan, like you, I am aghast. I am chin on chest about so much of the mainstream media. You know as well as I do that while other media outlets have pushed the idea of fuel shortages, on GBNews we haven't. That hasn't been the case. We have acknowledged that there's a shortage of HGV drivers
Not
for a
fuel.
whole complicated set of reasons. But we have not been amongst those that have pushed this idea of a fuel crisis. And then you mentioned, the very idea that somebody would suggest that COVID-19 has been, a good thing. But that underlines the point that the powers that be, that some people are saying, look, we've been able to use this as a mechanism to whip the people into line, to get them discombobulated, to get them not knowing which way is up. And once we've got them into that alarmed, highly anxious state, we can make them jump any way we want to. The very idea that anybody would...
Exactly, including the media, because they love it, they love the power, they love the control, and they have loved the ratings, and it is so wrong. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.